Joe Marsh in his 4th season, and starting at guard, a 5'8" junior, Gracie Castaneda, also a guard.
NBA 3 ball. He just absolutely drains that one.
9 3-pointers as a freshman. We cannot discount what she could come and do damage for the Arlington Eagles, but they're very guard-laden. They're quick. They put up a lot of outside shots. And then for Glacier Peak, pretty balanced in size around, so it's going to possibly be quickness against the inside game, but also Glacier Peak can score from the outside if need be.
Well, and we talked to both coaches before the game, and they both emphasized the balance both teams have. And like you said, there is some size that Glacier Peak has with Kayla Watkins down low, and Arlington's ability to stretch the court and hit from the outside is going to be key, but there's just such balance. There's really no way to predict this game other than both teams are going to come out fighting and both teams are going to come out being really aggressive.
There you have it. That's Christy Kingma. I'm Mark Ockett as we bring you the starting lineups right here on Fox Sports 1380 and also STSPN.com. Starting lineups brought to you by Erickson Furniture. For the best seats in the house, it is Erickson Furniture. Looks like another familiar face for you right there. And it's great to see these young girls who recognize Christy out here, and they aspire to do what you did. And I know that you're a humble person too. No, really, you are, and certainly have strong faith and everything. You just want to. You're the type of person setting an example of how you played, and now you get to pass that on in your clinics and such, and personal tutoring. Do you want to coach at some point?
I have no desire to coach, but I love the game. I want to give girls a reason to continue to dream and do what I did and have the opportunity to play at the next level.
Why don't we go ahead and take a timeout, and we'll be back with the play-by-play action of our second semifinal game for District 1 3A right here on Fox Sports 1380 and STSPN.com. Live, the Arlington High School Pep Band. Wrapping up our national anthem here tonight as we get set for game number 2. Had a blast with Christy calling game number 1. Our sports director, Tom Lafferty, is tucked in over there on the far side from us, watching the game, hanging out, and in the supervisory role. But this crew needs no supervisor. We're just having a blast, and it's fun to talk basketball. We'll tap into Christy's knowledge as we move through this game, and this some of your background too. We were talking about your living arrangement, which I think our listeners will get a part of your living arrangement. We'll get a big kick out of as we get on with the game here. You are actually living with a former Husky, another former Husky basketball player, women's basketball player, and a former Husky quarterback.
Yeah, the Heward family. Brock obviously was quarterback, and Molly, formerly Hills, Heward. I've had the opportunity to just kind of watch them live life and really learn from two people who are probably the greatest people on earth, in my opinion. But they're just great role models, and I've had the opportunity to kind of live with them a little bit and just watch them and nanny for them a little bit and talk about two amazing, amazing former UW athletes.
That is really cool, and also Brock doing a great job with the broadcasting, so passing along some tips as well. As we start things off here tonight, it is going to be Glacier Peak with the basketball, going down low, throwing up a shot and missing for them. And it will now be Arlington with the basketball. Here they go the other direction, driving to the basket, and missing is Arlington. This time it is, let's check here on the, that is going to be Jessica Ludwig. There we go.
Wow, quick pace again, right? Right up and down the court, just like the last game.
And with the basket coming the other direction, Glacier Peak connects. And now it'll be Arlington with the ball in front court. 2-0 is the score.
You see right away Glacier Peak wanting to get the ball down low to Kayla Watkins. She was unable to finish, but both teams wanting to press the pace, still get out and run.
That basket was by Samantha Fatkin. And now Arlington with the basketball, driving into the hoop and getting fouled for the Arlington Eagles will be Emma Janasek. She's going to go to the foul line with 2 shots.
Glacier Peak to start the possession, wanting to get the ball down low to Kayla Watkins. They have the size advantage down low. She was unable to connect, but then again on the next possession, you see their willingness to push the ball up the court, try to get easy buckets, just like we saw Linwood do in the last game.
That was on Sadie Mincy. That's her first team foul. At the foul line, shooting 2 is Janasek. Janasek misses the first one. Second one coming up. Glacier Peak leading at 2-0 here early going.
And Arlington on that last possession, they move the ball so well. This big stage doesn't faze them. They played in the state tournament. They've played in big games before. Quick ball movement, getting a good shot on the end, on the offensive end.
They changed the foul. It's going to be on Kiana Gardner, her first. And the second foul shot is no good. Can't have that. We talked about that in the first game. We could talk about it any game. You cannot miss those foul shots, especially in as tight a game as this could be. Glacier Peak with the ball in front court. It's Castaneda. Castaneda up top now to Modal. Modal throws it away. Now they finally get it back. Is coming around, twirling with the basketball will be Fatkin. And it's going to be a shot thrown up by Glacier Peak down low on the left side. Missing is Kayla Watkins, gets it back, then gets fouled, and she's going to be going to the line with 2 shots.
Kayla Watkins has had a couple easy, good looks at the basket, hasn't been able to convert the end, but she's going to continue to have good looks tonight if Glacier Peak continues to move the ball around and find her down low.
First foul shot by Watkins is no good. She averages 10.1 points per game. 2-0. Glacier Peak on top on a basket by Samantha Fatkin to get things going. 6:41 left to go in the first quarter. Next one on the way, perfect. There's Watkins making it now 3-0 as Glacier Peak takes the early lead.
Glacier Peak opens up in a man-to-man defense, not applying a ton of pressure, but kind of sagging off a little bit, seeing what Arlington's going to do on the offensive end.
Arlington works it around. It goes out of bounds. Last touched by the Eagles. It'll be Glacier Peak ball. Now, Glacier Peak won the first matchup and the only matchup between these two teams earlier in the year, 61-58. That was back on December 15th. That does seem like a long time ago now. 6:23 left to go in the first quarter. Glacier Peak breaks through off of the pressure defense from Arlington. Here they come. It is Mensing. Drives right side. Oh, hasn't come off the rim. Getting the rebound down low inside is Watkins. Christie lays it up and in, and it is 5-0.
On the reverse side, we see Arlington really wanting to pressure Glacier Peak. They're getting up full court, making it hard for them to just dribble up and find luxury.
We have a jump ball as Arlington goes the other direction. Glacier Peak ties them up. The arrow will keep it with the Arlington Eagles. 6:03 left to go in the first quarter. First quarter brought to you by WescoAthletics.com. WescoAthletics.com is where you can get all the news on Wesco and lineups, rosters, all kinds of good stuff on there. We have a foul. This is going to go, it looks like, against Glacier Peak. The foul is on Sadie Mensing, her second. What did you see on that one? Her second team foul. She owns them both.
I like Arlington's ability to really run the shot clock down. They're setting good screens. They're getting good ball movements. They're making crisp passes. Out of all the 4 teams we've seen play tonight, they're the team that seems to be the most in tune with their offensive sets.
Inbound pass from Arlington. Getting it is Bielser. Bielser, a former player of the game for us, and now going on the right side to Ludwig. And Ludwig will get fouled on the way in. She's going to have 2 shots coming up herself. That's on Kayla Watkins, her first third-team foul.
And you can tell that Arlington is extremely well coached. They're going right in at the post, getting the mismatches they want, and they're kind of getting whatever they want on the offensive end. Now they just have to convert them on the through the basket.
Ludwig makes the first foul shot, her first point of the game, and the first for Arlington in this one. Just under 6 minutes to go, 5:59, and then there's the second one dropping home. She has the 2 points to get Arlington on the scoreboard, averages 9.9 per game. Glacier Peak in front court. Here come the Grizzlies driving to the basket. How did that go in by Kiana Garner? She got it to go in there. Sometimes it's just knowing where the hoop is, too, having hoop sense.
Exactly, and Arlington's providing the pressure. So Glacier Peak's ability to attack the basket and score will relieve that pressure.
Jessica Ludwig drives in, puts it off the glass right side. It's 7-4, and Glacier Peak throws it away. Ludwig gets it back and drives in, right side lay in good. She's got all 6 points for the Eagles. It's 7-6. Here they come as they start to soar early here in the first quarter.
And the thing about pressure is the more you create turnovers, the easier it is to apply that pressure.
Great pass inside from Paisley Johnson to Garner, and Garner connects for the basket. 9-6. Pace getting fast, just like that first game with Linwood winning by 16, but it wasn't like that early on. Here we go, driving in, missing on a shot for the Eagles will be Janasek. Getting the rebound is Glacier Peak. Here comes Johnson out of backcourt. Passes on the left side. It's Fatkin. Fatkin nearly has it stolen away, and finally, tight defense may cost Valderas a foul, or Glacier Peak. I think it's going to be against Glacier Peak. That's going to be on Fatkin, her first 4th team foul.
Glacier Peak's committed some silly turnovers early in this game, not knowing defenders are behind them, not being able to catch the ball cleanly. I think this environment's maybe rattled them a little bit. They don't have quite the experience Arlington does, so look for them to settle down early in this first quarter.
Eagles with the basketball in front court. Here they go, over on the left side. Ludwig. Ludwig now passes to Beelzer. Beelzer fires a shot, misses, no good. And getting the rebound over on the left side, picking it off will be Fatkin. Then driving over on the left wing, missing on the shot is Watkins. That's going to be a foul. It's going to be a grabbing foul against the Grizzlies.
Not a smart foul by Kayla Watkins. They need her in the game, and she picks up a quick two personal fouls. If she's out of the game, that size advantage doesn't do much difference on the bench.
So here we go. That's going to be the second foul against Beelzer. Beelzer taking their... Yeah, there we go. So it is now 5 team fouls and 1 against the Arlington Eagles. I think they had 1 too many up there. Let's see, or is that against Watkins? That was against Watkins. There we go.
And 5 quick fouls. I mean, talk about quick fouls. That's going to put Arlington on the line very early in the game unless Glacier Peak stops fouling.
There's a missed shot, and that's timed by Jayla Russ. Russ has it come out of there, and it's going to be deflected away. Finally controlled by Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak's Sadie Mensing will have it, and a timeout is going to be called. We'll take a timeout as well. 9-6 to score right here in the first quarter as the Glacier Peak Grizzlies lead the Arlington Eagles by 3. All right, let's get all set up here. Glacier Peak with the basketball. They get set to inbound. Sadie Mensing with 1 foul, 1 on Kiana Garner. And they have 5 team fouls. A couple of fouls as they whistled that one on her. So it is Glacier Peak with the basketball. They'll come out of backcourt. Into front court now. It is into the game for Glacier Peak, Natalie Rasmussen. Rasmussen passes up top to Fatkin. Fatkin with the basketball, driving left side. And that will be Paisley Johnson. Paisley Johnson losing the ball, and it's going to be Arlington basketball.
Glacier Peak's really struggled against the pressure so far. That Arlington quick and easy turnovers, not what Coach Brian Hill wants from his team early in the first quarter. Jessica
Ludwig will have the ball in front court. She passes to Janasek. Janasek looking around. Now backs up between the circles, calls out a play, passes over on the left side. It goes to Castaneda, drives left side. Count the basket. And 1. She was fouled on the way in, kind of let up a little bit, it seemed, on the left baseline. And then you have the foul coming up against Fatkin, her second 6-team foul.
And you see with 6 team fouls early for Glacier Peak, Arlington is proving to be the team that's more aggressive attacking the basket. These fouls will even out over time, but gosh, if I'm Arlington, I'm continuing to attack the basket and want to get easy looks at the free throw line.
Here's the next shot. It was good. The foul shot by Castaneda to tie the game at 9 apiece. Into front court, Glacier Peak. Here comes Fatkin, and Fatkin is fouled. Or the ball knocked out of bounds. We'll see if that is going to be a foul. They just knocked it out of bounds out of her hands. It's going to be Glacier Peak ball.
But I like that aggressiveness by Fatkin, wanting to attack the basket, wanting to get out easy in transition. Glacier Peak hasn't done that so far tonight.
Glacier Peak with the basketball. 3:18 left to go in the first quarter. Inbound pass goes this time to Fatkin. Back up top they go to Johnson. Johnson works it around the right side. It'll be Garner. Garner inside, makes the basket. Or Mensing, goes to Mensing, who drops it in for 2.
That's what you'd expect from your senior leader, needing a bucket to kind of calm your team down, go right into the senior leader, get an easy 2 up on the board.
Arlington with the ball in front court. Ludwig has the basketball, drives in, fires one off high off the glass, gets a rebound, goes back up, puts it up, off the front of the rim, no good. It's batted around, and Glacier Peak had it. Now Arlington ends up with it, with the ball going in a little bit. This time it's Castaneda, and now goes to Ludwig.
So far, Arlington's been the team that's been more aggressive. They've got the loose balls, they've got the easy buckets. Glacier Peak hasn't really found that toughness yet.
Ludwig connects on the basket and ties it up at 11. This time Glacier Peak goes the other direction with the basketball. Paisley Johnson driving in towards the basket and gets fouled as Jayla Russ fouls her. Russ with her first. And this is the second team foul.
Paisley Johnson, an extremely talented player, only a sophomore, already committed to BYU. She's not really known for her three-point shot, but really attacks the basket well and extremely athletic.
Paisley Johnson connects on the first foul shot to make it 12-11. Second one is coming up, 2:34 left to go here in the first quarter. Here's the shot, it's on the way and good.
And
her first 2 points of the game.
It gives Glacier Peak a little time to kind of catch their breath. They've been so caught up in the trapping defense of Arlington, the pressure. Now they kind of catch their breath, find themselves only down 2 points, and have the ability to kind of regroup.
Arlington with the ball, coming out of backcourt. Sarah Short just entered the action in between the circles, dribbles left side. It's Johnson on her. Here we go. There's Ludwig driving left baseline, misses on a shot. Air ball, but the rebound grabbed by Arlington. Good job that time. Out top now to Ludwig. I'll make that to Russ. But getting the board that time was Castaneda and keeping it alive. Russ ends up with a 3-ball off the glass, and it is good.
Did she call that bank? You got to call bank.
You got to call bank when it's that far out, especially. It's 14-13, lead switching hands. 1:54 left in the first quarter as Arlington is up by 1 point here in this first quarter. Glacier Peak, go ahead.
Kind of an unlucky attempt for Glacier Peak there, but Jayla Russ is an extremely talented player. You got to get at her and guard her on the three-point line.
Glacier Peak with the basketball in front court. It's Garner, 3-ball, way outside, off the right side of the rim. Follows with her own rebound, drives in, puts one off the glass, no good. Chasing it down will be Ludwig. It goes off her fingertips, out of bounds, and it will be Glacier Peak ball. That's
the first possession we've really seen Glacier Peak fight for the rebound. They're kind of gaining their toughness back a little bit after being slow out of the gates.
Glacier Peak with the ball. In front court now, it is Johnson driving, right side lay-in, off the glass, off the rim, no good. Arlington gets the rebound. Here they come out of backcourt. It's Short. Short will work it out. Now slow it down. Passes right side Ludwig, 3-ball. That's off the left side of the rim. No good as Glacier Peak will get the rebound. Getting the board is Fatkin. Fatkin with a pass down left side. And that goes this time to Rasmussen. Lays it in. It is good for Glacier Peak. And a timeout called by Arlington as a 15-14 lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. 1:06 left to go in the first quarter. You are listening to STSPN.com and Fox Sports 1380.
Exactly.
Arlington with the basketball. Coming out of backcourt for the Eagles is Short. Short looking around, now passes in towards the inside. Russ on the right baseline, puts up a shot off the glass too hard. She had a good angle, but it came out of there. Getting the rebound will be Johnson. Johnson loses the handle on it. Rasmussen gets it back, and now they pass over on the right side. It's Fatkin. Fatkin drives into the lane, fires one up. Nice soft touch right out in front. How did that one get in? And she drops it home for a 17-14 lead for the Grizzlies.
Both teams, their best offense has kind of been get a rebound and get out in transition. No offense has really been smooth, but Sammy Fatkin kind of putting up a prayer prayer and letting it go in.
Russ misses a 3-ball. Glacier Peak had their hand on it, stays with it. It's going to be Mensing. And now here come the Grizzlies out of backcourt, passing on the left side. Rasmussen with the ball, back up top in between the circles. With the basketball is Johnson. Johnson picked up defensively by Short. Johnson drives right side, shut off. Now back up top.
Johnson really wants to attack with her right hand. Arlington knows that they've played Glacier Peak early this year, wanting to force her to her left.
3-point jumper. Garner is good, as that one was handed off by Fatkin, and a timeout is called by Arlington. They are down by 6 points, 20-14, and that is, the end of the first quarter as the time winds out. 20-14 is the score right at the buzzer. We'll take a timeout. I'll be back with more. Welcome back here to Jackson High School. Second quarter brought to you by Glass by Lund. Grizzlies leading against the Eagles 20-14 here to get things going. And Glacier Peak has the basketball. They work it around. Nice ball movement once again. Firing up a shot, comes out of there, no good. Getting the rebound will be Ludwig. The shot was fired by Rasmussen. Here comes Arlington. They need some baskets. They're down by 6 points here to start this second quarter off.
And neither team's offense has been really smooth. What other team's gotten the offensive board has kind of been able to get out, leak out in transition, and get buckets that way.
Shot found Ludwig. Ludwig missed a shot. She pokes it out. It's going to be Garner chasing after it into front court for the Grizzlies. Now leaves it back for Johnson. Johnson looking around. Drives into the lane. Dumps a pass right side. Lots of traffic in there for Arlington. Looks like a blocking foul is going to be called against the Eagles, and that would be against Peyton Brown. That is her first and the third team foul. Grizzlies will inbound with the basketball is Garner. Garner passes over on the right side. Rasmussen, 3-ball, off the rim, no good, and getting the rebound, Peyton Brown.
And the shots that are going in for the teams are the buckets, are the shots close to the basket. Neither team really settling in from the 3-point line except for Kiana Garner late in the first quarter.
There's Peyton Brown, 3-ball off the back of the rim. Glacier Peak gets the rebound. Pulling it down is Garner. Here they come the other direction. Tap shot. Oh, if that happens, that would be something. Tapping it was Fatkin. Back to her trailing teammate, Mensing. Mensing puts it up, misses a shot. She gets fouled, and will go to the foul line with 2.
Both teams are really wanting to get out in transition. Kind of shaky for both teams on the offensive end. Neither team really asserting themselves, but both teams have done a really good job getting out in transition, drawing fouls, and getting to the free throw line.
Ludwig called for the foul. That will be her second. Team foul number 4. Foul shot is good. A couple of substitutions. Ludwig is going to come out, so will Short.
I like the minutes that Paisley Johnson's played so far for Glacier Peak. She hasn't really scored, but gotten out in transition, attacked the basket, created opportunities for her teammates.
Sadie Mensing hits both shots. 22-14 the score, 6:38 to go in the second quarter. Driving with the basketball, Arlington in front court. It's Janasek, and it is good by Janasek. So she makes that to make it her first 2 points of the game, 22-16.
She had tough defense on her, but able to get into the lane, find a little bit of space, and put up a nice soft shot.
Glacier Peak with the ball into front court right now. There's a long 3-pointer, no good. Grimm's out by Fatkin, and here comes Arlington out of backcourt. They trail by 6 points, 22-16. 3-point shot, no good by Castaneda. And we have a push-off at the tail end of it. Foul indication, it's going to be 1-1, so that one's going against Glacier Peak. Romeo Escalona giving us the foul indication. Foul is on Sadie Mensing, her second. They gave her one originally, then took it away. Now this is officially her second. And going to the foul line, Arlington. Set to go for them will be Olivia Larson with the 1-1. Shot on the way. No, not going to fall. And tapped around. Who's going to end up with it? Finally, big scramble for it. And Jayla Russ stays with the ball. Had it. Goes into backcourt. Now Glacier Peak will end up with it. Getting the ball is Watkins. Watkins went over on the right side. Got a little loose in there. And getting a handle on the basketball will be, looks like Paisley Johnson. Nope, that's going to be Samantha Fatkin, and Olivia Larson will be called for the foul. Just really getting loose and kind of rough and tumble in there.
Yeah, a little bit chippy. Both teams obviously wanting to come out and win this game with neither offense really connecting. Both teams are just trying to get the loose ball, try to score any way they can, and there's kind of been a little bit of a rugby scrum the last couple possessions. Each team so desperate to get their offense in flow, looking for those easy buckets, easy leak-outs in transition to kind of calm themselves down.
Samantha Fatkin makes the first foul shot. Here comes the second one. 5:55 left to go second quarter. That rims out, no good. Getting the rebound is Castaneda. Castaneda up the right side, finds Larson. Larson backs off now. There's Russ. Russ thought, well, a 4-point shot if you're the Harlem Globetrotters, and then she thinks twice of it. As Castaneda will have the basketball in front court now. There is Larson. Larson looking around. Peyton Brown tries to help her out. Now swings one right side. Castaneda, right side. Drives in, laying. Good! Just had enough to squeeze the trigger and drop that one in. 23-18. Grizzlies will come out of backcourt now. It's Fatkin. Fatkin drives. Passes down left side. Watkins. Watkins puts it up, and it is good. Count the basket. As Kayla Watkins now has a total of 4 points in the game. And she will go to the line, make that 6 points, and she will go to the foul line as Castaneda gets called for the foul, her first 16 foul.
Big bucket for Kayla Watkins. She just came in after having had to sit for 2 fouls. She comes in, gets an easy 2 points, kind of gets herself back in the flow of the game, and kind of they can progress from there. Watkins makes a foul shot. It's 26-18. 5:18 left to go in the second quarter here at Jackson High School. Arlington down by the 8. They have the ball in front court now. There's Brown. It's Russ. Russ likes to fake out with that shot way outside the arc. And now passes to Janasek. Janasek will find Balderas, who puts up a 3-ball off the front side of the rim. No. There's Johnson getting the rebound. And we have a foul at the end of that. I like the poise that Arlington's showing on the offensive end. They're obviously not connecting from the 3-point line like we know they can, but they're showing good poise, getting the shots they want on the offensive end. So Castaneda got called for the foul, her second, 7th personal. 1-1 for Paisley Johnson, who is 4 for 4 from the line so far. 5 minutes exactly left here in the second quarter. And the shot is good. Both teams in the 1-on-1 in the bonus now. If I'm either team, I'm going to look to attack. Obviously, the offenses haven't flowed extremely well so far, so to get to the free throw line, get easy points from the line, that's what I'm going to try to look to do. Johnson's next shot is good. She is 6 for 6 from the foul line. It is 28-18. Biggest lead of the game for either team at 10 points here in the second quarter. Each team has 7 fouls. Russ hands the basketball off as they twirl it around, move it around. That's Janasek. Oh, and Peyton Brown had a shot blocked out of there by Watkins. And it ends up, Arlington gets it back, but they go over and back. Chasing it down was Castaneda. That'll give it back to Glacier Peak. Joe Marsh, the head coach of the Arlington Eagles, not happy. His team down by 10 points and the frustration growing. Yeah, they thought there was a tip in the backcourt. Looks like that could have been the case, but I like that Arlington ran Brown off a couple screens trying to get their 3-point shooter an open look from the line. Here we go. There's Glacier Peak with the basketball. It's Fatkin. Fatkin looking around. Passes over on the left side. Mincing. And we got a foul. This looks like an offensive foul. That's going to go against Glacier Peak as Riaj Kanji will give the indication. That's on Fatkin. Her third, 8th team foul, Christy. On that last possession, we just see Arlington knowing Glacier Peak's tendencies. Their players stepped right in front of where Glacier Peak wanted to cut, obviously knowing the offense, drew a quick offensive foul, not what Coach Brian Hill wants from his starting point guard. Valderas with the basketball, bounces to Castaneda. Castaneda up high now, guarded by Watkins. It's definitely a height mismatch out there with all those guards for Arlington, but they are quick. There is Balderas, who's only 5 feet tall, drives to the basket into traffic, missed the shot. Watkins gets the rebound, and now the outlet right side. It's Rasmussen coming out of backcourt, picked up by Balderas. Pass over on the left wing to Castaneda. Castaneda between the circles, over on the right side. Or excuse me, it is Garner. Garner with the basketball. They go down to Watkins. Watkins drives in left side, laying good. Arlington kind of fell asleep. There was a lot of weave action up top, kind of fell asleep on the back end. Kayla Watkins able to sneak in there, drive in for an easy layup.
With the basketball is Balderas. She'll pass over on the right side. It's Russ. Russ drives to the basket and does not make it. She will be fouled. Got 2 from the stripe coming up. They're down by 12 points, 30-18.
And you kind of look up and they're down 12. Where did that go? Glacier Peak hasn't really done a ton of great things on the offensive end except for get to the free throw line and take what the defense has given them. Arlington's had the possession for the most part, but unable to connect from the three-point line and down low.
Russ at the foul line. First shot is a miss. And the foul that time was against Rasmussen. Her first 9 team fouls whistled against the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Almost double bonus. 3:35 left to go here in the second quarter. Russ at the foul line. There's the shot. It is good.
And Arlington now can apply their full court pressure. They're not in a full court man-to-man, more in a full court zone, trying to mix up the defense and give Glacier Peak a different look.
Glacier Peak with the basketball. It is Rasmussen. Passes across to Mensing. Mensing on the right side, drives, dishes off is Garner. Garner cross-court pass now. She finds Johnson. Johnson pull-up jumper. Good! Just inside the foul line. That's her first field goal. She has 8 points in the game. It's a 13-point lead, Christy, at 32-19.
Smooth-looking jumper by Paisley Johnson. Attacks the basket hard, pulls up, stop and pop. Not many girls can do that.
Castaneda with the basketball to Russ. 3-ball off the rim. Batted around and getting out the basketball is Rasmussen. Rasmussen will come out of backcourt after getting the rebound. There she goes. Nice dribbling there on the one-on-one against Castaneda.
Arlington is dying and desperate for a three-point bucket. They know that they can hit from there. They just haven't tonight. You can almost sense that their crowd is almost willing a three-point basket to go in. A
missed shot by Mensing, and Russ gets the rebound. Goes to Janasek. Janasek drives the other way, lay in. Good. Oh, she fought hard for that one. Got it to drop in. It's 32-21. 2:29 left to go in the second quarter here at Jackson High School. Driving the other direction is Mensing. Mensing missed the shot. Rebound by Castaneda. Here she comes flying out of backcourt for the Arlington Eagles to Russ. Russ looks left side, now finds Janasek. Janasek driving in, looking around, drives to the basket and loses the ball, but it was last touched on tight defense by Watkins.
Janasek's doing a really good job attacking the basket. There's a little bit of flopping going on, both teams trying to draw fouls, but since being called really tight early, the refs are kind of letting it play a little bit. With 7 team fouls for Arlington or 7 team fouls for Glacier Peak and 9 for Arlington, you would assume that both teams are wanting to attack the basket, but the refs really aren't calling it tight right now, which is probably a good thing.
Ludwig will inbound on the baseline. 2:11 left to go, second quarter. 32-21 is the score as Glacier Peak leads by 11. Both teams 19-2 entering the game. There is Castaneda now popping out for her, Janasek. Castaneda right side high and now drives a little bit on her opponent Mensing. Drives to the basket, misses a shot. There's a rebound pulled down by Watkins. Watkins will leave it out for Rasmussen. Rasmussen over on the right wing. She goes as she finds Johnson. Johnson drives to the basket. We do have a foul coming up. Castaneda up tight. It is number 3 on number 3, but also Jayla Russ right there. She's going to be called for the foul, her second, and that is the 8th team foul. Johnson goes to the foul line with 2 shots.
Paisley Johnson's done a really good job in this second quarter of attacking the basket. She's not forced anything. She's taken what the defense has given her, and the defense has given her lanes to the basket. She's converted from the free throw line, and except for on that last one, but also converted some pretty easy layups and a nice jump shot.
Foul shot was missed. The next one is good.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a jinx. Is that what I'm hearing?
Don't worry about it. 32-21 is the score. 1:49 left to go as Paisley Johnson shoots Christy a glare and makes the second foul. No, she doesn't. I'm just kidding.
Shoots me a glare. There you go.
There you go. So 33-21, which she'd have headsets on down there. Her beats by Dre. Now in front court is Janasek. She dishes one out to Ludwig. Down low, Russ. Laying good. Nice ball movement as they make it work, but they're down by 10 points. Certainly not insurmountable. There's lots of game left, but they have to make more plays like that. And why not utilize Russ inside?
Just like you said, good ball movement. They ran their offense. They didn't take their first look. They had good shot selection. All those things add up to a good possession for Arlington.
There's a jumper, no good by Johnson. Air ball. Ludwig gets it. She'll go left side. Finds Janasek. Janasek now to Castanedas. Drives around. Dumps one off to Janasek. Janasek goes with a shot off the right baseline and is fouled from behind. She will have 2 shots at the line.
And you see what a good possession does for Arlington. It kind of on the next possession slows them down a little bit. You gain some confidence. Arlington runs a really good offense. They have good ball possession. They set good screens. Their ability to kind of continue to do that wears the defense down, and they can get good look after good look.
Paisley Johnson called for the foul, her first double bonus now, and at the foul line is Janasek. First foul shot is good. She has 5 points all in the quarter. That's her first trip to the line. 1:08 left to go, second quarter, 33-24. Next one off the backside of the iron, and the rebound quickly pulled down by Glacier Peak's Mensing. Mensing with a pass right side to Rasmussen. Rasmussen coming out of backcourt against Janasek. Less than a minute to go in the second quarter, 33-24. Glacier Peak with the ball in front court. They can take some time off the clock. 17 seconds left here on the shot clock. Drive, Johnson working around with a reverse shot. No good. Getting the board will be Ludwig, and Ludwig will pass right side. Janasek, they back off. Janasek will come into front court.
Janasek has had success attacking the basket as Arlington runs their offense and gets a good look at the three-point line.
Missed shot by Bielzer. Getting the rebound is Glacier Peak. Here they come out of backcourt. 27 seconds on the quarter clock. Just a couple second difference is there's 20 seconds now on the shot clock. With the basketball will be Rasmussen. Rasmussen passes to Johnson. And the clock winding down, 11 on the shot clock. Christie, there goes Garner driving to the basket. Russ, good defense, double team actually. Ending up with it is Castaneda. Castaneda will come out of backcourt. Drives to the basket, underhand lay-in shot. That's an offensive foul. The basket went in, but Castaneda is going to be called for the foul. Let me double check. That's her third foul and the 19th foul.
Tough call, but I like the aggressive drive by Castaneda. Glacier Peak with the last shot in this first half.
This place is energetic here tonight. There's a shot. Driving in is Johnson. Gets it to rattle, bounce, and drop off the backside of the rim. 4-2 at the half. They make the basket. Does Paisley Johnson. 35-24 is the score going into halftime. An 11-point lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Wow, that was a fast-paced first half as well, just like that first game. And Glacier Peak shaking up Arlington at this point in time, but don't count those Eagles out. I expect them to come back and be tough in the second half.
Yeah, it was a fast-paced first half, but neither team really settled themselves down. It kind of seemed like each team was kind of frantic, not really sure. No one really settled into their style of play. Glacier Peak comes out on top because they converted from the free throw line, but foul issue comes into play coming into the second half. Kind of a toss-up. Glacier Peak's up 11, but haven't really asserted themselves either.
That's Christy Kingma. I'm Mark Ockett. We are here at Arlington High School, second game of our doubleheader. And in the first game, it was the Linwood Royals defeating the Edmonds Woodway Warriors 67-51. And we'll come back and take a look at the first half of this one right after this timeout. You are listening to Fox Sports 1380's coverage as well as STSPN.com. Stay tuned. More on the way.
At the half here on STSPN and Fox Sports 1380. Keith Neely, Steve Willits with you on the halftime show, sponsored by Action Jackson. And we'll now head down to Steve Willits. Got coaches standing by.
Thank you, Keith Neely, and we are back again with the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime report here on STSPN. I'd like to thank Mark Ockett and Christy Kingma for bringing us the play-by-play and their color commentary. We will get back to them in the second half. First, we've got a guest though right now, Nick Brown, who is dual role, I guess, right now. You are the head coach of the boys basketball team at Arlington, but tonight you are father of Peyton Brown, who's playing here in this game. Give us an assessment of the first half and how this game has gone, and what does Arlington need to do to get back into it?
Work out the jitters. I think that they looked a little bit nervous there at the start, and the pressure got to them, but once they started attacking the rim, it looked a lot better. The big girl for them, I don't think they can keep up with Jayla coming up and down the floor. And Ludwig, Jessica just got to keep attacking the rim like she does. And if we hit a few shots, it'll help us out. We're not hitting the shots like we usually do, and we're used to that. So we're going to have to be able to get inside. But, Marsh will do a great job. He'll figure out some adjustments, start attacking the rim.
Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about a game that took place last week. I think it was at the Stanwood game with Peyton getting out there and 9 three-pointers for the freshman. It must have been a proud papa on that day, right?
Yeah, it was really neat. It's really cool to be able to just watch the game and not worry about nose and just. Yeah, I was so. And I are just, we're just really proud of her.
Well, it's been a great season for her and her team so far, and plenty of time left on the clock. Got to ask you about your own team right now. You're in the semifinals and districts tomorrow night in this same gym. You're playing a Stanwood team that you've lost to twice this year already. What do you need to do to run with Stanwood tomorrow night?
We got to shoot the ball. I know it sounds simple, but if you ever can shoot the ball, you have a shooter's chance. And, we haven't shot the ball real well against them, and they're so good. Zach does such a good job. But I think if we can shoot the ball, and I think this is kind of a tough place to shoot the ball, or it's a great place. Obviously Jackson's had a lot of success over the years with the Kingma boys and all that, but we'd like to be able to get some of that here. A couple years ago, we played Lake Stevens in the first one of the rounds of our playoffs, and we just shot the lights out then. I kind of like to get back to that. And so we've been talking a lot about shooting and just being confident and not being afraid of them, because the Stanwood's really good, and we're playing that Stanwood, the mojo of Stanwood, but we just got to go out and be who we are. And we've been watching film, and we just have made a lot of mistakes last couple games. We think we can fix those up and hopefully compete a little better against them. Now,
in that last matchup against them, you were ahead 23-21 after the first quarter, 44 points combined. Is that the kind of a track meet you want against Stanwood, or is there a type of a game in particular that you want to play tomorrow?
Like I said, it sounds as silly as it is, but shooting the basketball, I don't want to try and keep up with them in a track meet. I don't think that's a good move for us. We want to kind of slow them down a little bit and try and grind them down and make them make some passes and make some shots. But they're so good, and they can hit it from so many places. But yeah, watching the film, our defense was just too porous last time. We want to slow them down and make them earn some shots against us.
Now, your first round game was last week. You beat Shorewood by 5, a game you trailed by 4 going into the fourth quarter. What was the difference in that game, and how did you feel about it after when all was said and done? What did you tell your players in the locker room?
I felt great. I feel like we're starting to really buy in and listen, and they're seeing the things we talk about doing. They're starting to do it, and so it's really neat to see that. I really felt that our experience and our confidence in the Arlington, we've had some success last couple of years, and I felt that carried us over a little bit. That mojo, you could see them tighten up a little bit, and we were pretty loose at the end, and that's good. That coach does a good job. They're a good program. But our kids felt confident. We said, this is our game. We're not going to let it go. And they just did a good job of just taking care of business.
Okay, so you're going to help us promote tomorrow now. We've got a doubleheader. You guys are the second game at 7:45. Again, right here. Game that we'll be broadcasting on KRKO and also simulcasting on STSPN. The first game of the night, Glacier Peak, Marysville Pilchuck. What can folks expect if they tune into that game?
It'll be a shootout. I haven't really had a chance to watch Glacier Peak a whole lot, but Marysville I have. And they've come on so strong. They struggled a couple years ago, and they've just gotten better and better, and now Gary's got them playing so well. And, they just shoot the ball well, and they get up and down the floor, and they execute. They do everything you want to do at a district tournament time. And Brian Hunter at Glacier Peak, he's just an outstanding coach. So they'll be ready to go. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to really see them, but I just know it's going to be a good, my guess is a half-court basketball game, executing plays, playing tough defense, and putting the ball in the hole.
So tomorrow night, 6 p.m. first game at Glacier Peak, Marysville Pilchuck. Nick Brown and his Arlington Eagles taking on Stanwood in the second game at 7:45. But before we get to that, we got 16 more minutes here, so I'll let you get back to being a dad and rooting Peyton on. How's that sound?
All right, hey, and once again, we always appreciate what you guys do for us. You guys are so good at high school basketball. You promote what we do. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all your help.
Hey, thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. So again, that's Nick Brown, the head boys basketball coach at Arlington. Tomorrow night, right here in this gym. We're going to take a quick break right now, but when we come back, we'll get you caught up on what happened in the first half and get you ready for the third quarter. You're watching STSPN right here on the Action Jackson Plumbing.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com. Always an outstanding atmosphere when you come into the den of Scoop Jackson High School. The band is roaring and cooking over there. The Arlington Eagles High School band just setting the tone for the third quarter about to erupt here. And one thing, a great interview, first of all, Steve, with Coach Nick Brown. And one thing that I caught out of all of that, one, I think he prefers being the dad. And two, these coaches have such great respect for one another throughout the West Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you see that with these two programs in particular. I think in terms of Nick and Brian Hunter, and then during the Linwood Edmonds Woodway game prior to this game, during the first quarter, I looked up in the stands, and Brian Hill and Joe Marsh were talking to each other for probably a good 10 or 15 minutes. We asked Brian Hunter about that, or Brian Hill about that in the interview that didn't, I guess, make it on the air earlier. But just jokingly about how the two of them are pretty good friends, and these two teams are not a lot separating them in terms of geographical speaking and mileage-wise. They know each other pretty well.
Outstanding district that you have to pay attention to. I think every real fan in the stands knows more about this district than they would have normally on any other normal season, just because they got quality here. I was walking up just to see my kids, who happen to be in the very top oxygen seats in the bleachers here, and I passed at least 4 different college coaches sitting in the stands, the ones I could see.
Sure.
So this is a lot more than just the semifinal matchup now. Careers could be extended tonight.
Well, and rightfully so, because when you look at these rosters, the two teams combined have 4 seniors on their entire rosters. Glacier Peak has 2, Arlington has 2. A lot of young talent out here. These are two teams that are, well, they're already top 10 teams in the state. Probably preseason polls next year, they're top 2 or 3 or 4. I mean, they're right up there. So you're going to see a lot of that. And really, you alluded to it a minute ago, the district is so tough. And quite frankly, when you get right down to it, this game is more important than the game on Saturday, the championship game. If you win tonight, you qualify for the championship game, and the worst you can do is lose and finish in second place. That gets you on to regionals. Only 3 teams are coming out of this bracket.
There's no guarantee the hard
and there's
way.
no guarantee. If you lose tonight, you are one of, 4 teams left battling for that 3rd spot. You have to go through and run a little bit of a gauntlet. I mean, when you look at it right now, if you're Glacier Peak, or if you're Arlington rather, and you lose, you're down by 11 right now, you're going to have to probably go to play against Stanwood 2 nights from now. You win that game, and then you're probably looking at playing like an Edmonds Woodway or a Ferndale in that 3rd place game, a game that you would have to win just to get out of district. So lose tonight, you got to win 2 more games. Win tonight, you really don't have to win at all after this.
And the pressure is off just from resting bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not extremely deep, and most of these teams really are fairly deep, going the hard way can really cost you some legs down the stretch. It's a marathon.
Absolutely. So it looks like they're ready to play. We'll throw it back over to our friends at KRKO, and we'll be back with you folks after the game.
As Arlington will inbound to get things started. Here we go, Christy.
And Arlington's down 11, so they want to come out. They want to get good shots. They're in no pressure to rush the ball or rush shots up, but they want to get good shots, run their offense, get the shots they want.
Well, there's one to start things off by Beelzer. She misses on it, and Glacier Peak will have the basketball. Fatkin will come out of backcourt, left-handed dribble. A taller lineup again against the shorter Arlington team. Both teams move the ball around. There is down low, Mensing putting up a shot, no good. Getting the rebound will be Janasek. Janasek will come out of backcourt.
Both teams kind of calmed down a little bit, not pressing too much. Both teams ran their offense, got the shots they want. Now they just need to fall.
There's a shot, a miss by Beelzer. Glacier Peak gets the rebound, nearly throws it away, saved. Now it looks like it's going to be Balderas getting control of it for Arlington. They get it to Ludwig down the other direction. She goes to Beelzer, 3-point jumper off the back of the rim. They're 0 for 3 here in the second half to start things off. There's Janasek. Janasek delivers to Ludwig. Ludwig with the basketball goes over on the left side, and now they'll slow it up a little bit. With the ball will be Janasek. Janasek outside the arc, drives in right side, tries to make a move on Johnson. And a blocking foul is going to be called against Paisley Johnson. She did not have position.
She didn't have position, but I like the patience that Arlington possessed on that last possession. They didn't try to force anything. They kind of let the offense come to them. They got the shots they want. They attacked the basket, much different than how they played in the second quarter.
Third quarter brought to you by Everett Community College. Stay close and go far. That's Everett Community College. Ludwig gets it on the entry pass and puts it in. The pass from Balderas.
The best thing about scored baskets for Arlington, besides that they get points, is that they're able to set up their pressure defense, which Glacier Peak had trouble with in the first half.
Mensing will pass over on the right side. Fatkin. Fatkin now finds Johnson. Johnson looking around. Cross-court pass. She goes to Watkins. Watkins drives left baseline, puts up a shot. Soft touch is good. 37-26. 6:19 left to go in the third quarter. Glacier Peak is up by 11 points with the basketball. Janasek. Janasek between the circles now drives in some, kind of working against Garner. Lays one up. Underhanded. Good. Beautiful shot by Emma Janasek. She has 7 points. First 2 here in the third quarter. That's the kind of stuff you have to do. Just challenge them.
Exactly, and Janasek's done a really good job of attacking the basket, getting good looks for Arlington, both in the first half and now in the second.
Wide open was Mensing as she got a pass from Fatkin, and Mensing puts it in. She has 6 points in the game. Missed shot by Arlington. There, down below, right side will be Balderas. Balderas puts it in, 39-30, a 9-point lead. Biggest lead of the game has been 13 for Glacier Peak. Poked away by Arlington. It's on the floor. Close to a jump ball. It will be a jump ball as Garner is down there and also tying up with Beasler.
Balderas on that last possession for Arlington, the smallest player on the court getting an offensive board. You love that hustle and you love that fight from the smallest player out there.
Grizzlies basketball. Garner will inbound. Russ looks to check in for Arlington. Here she comes, replacing Castaneda.
When Jayla Russ comes in, she provides much-needed size for Arlington, matching up against Kayla Watkins, who just had a great offensive move on that last possession, scoring down low for Glacier Peak.
Russ with 6 points in the game, averages 9, and the inbound pass goes to Mensing. Mensing puts it off the glass for 2, 41-30, 5:23 left to go in the third quarter. Out of backcourt come the Arlington Eagles. With the basketball is Janasek. Janasek looking around, now backs up, passes to Ludwig, who pops out outside the arc, and they've got to start making some hay right here. There's a pass from Ludwig to Russ. Russ with the 3-ball, puts it in. She has 2 of them in the game. 41-33 is the score in the pressure defense. Christy.
And maybe that opens it up a little bit for Arlington. They're so craving a open 3-point shot, which they have had success with this season.
Worked inside and a missed shot this time by Mensing. Finally ending up with it will be Castaneda helping out with Janasek. Janasek comes out of backcourt, 41-33. Janasek goes with a pass left side to Russ. It is knocked out of bounds. Glacier Peak touched it last, and it will be Arlington ball. They're down by 8 points. This is a key possession.
You're exactly right. They don't want to dig themselves in a hole. They hit that 3-pointer. Now they have momentum. They're going to look to be able to continue that, either get another 3-pointer or at least get a quality shot on this possession.
Janasek gets the ball, had to retrieve it out of backcourt. 41-33. Janasek 3-ball. No, off the backside of the rim. Russ goes for it, not going to get it. It's going to be Johnson, gets the rebound. Here she comes out of backcourt. Long pass down low to Fatkin. Fatkin gets out of trouble. Lots of time on the shot clock. Now she's picked up defensively by Castaneda, who tries to steal. Near steal, tapped around by Janasek. Getting it back, Fatkin. Pass right side to Mensing. Mensing misses a shot. 3 Arlington Eagles down low. And it will be Russ who will get the ball after it was tapped to her by Ludwig.
Glacier Peak's missed some bunnies down low. You hope that doesn't come back to haunt them later on in the game, but they've had some good looks they haven't been able to convert on.
Balderas with the ball, goes to Russ. It's blocked away by Watkins. Great hand there by Watkins. Now she will pass to Fatkin. Fatkin with the shot, puts it up, no good. Rebound by Ludwig. Fast pace right here, 3:50 to go in the third quarter. There's Balderas. Looks like that might have been a piece of it there by Fatkin, perhaps, but she misses a shot either way, and it's going to be pulled down. Getting it will be Rasmussen, and a foul in backcourt going to be called against Serafina Balderas.
And both teams not having great shot selection the last couple possessions, both ill-advised 3-pointers by both teams. You kind of want to settle yourself down, get the ball moving a little bit, see what opens up, and take a good shot.
Balderas called for the foul. That's her first team foul. Each team has 1 foul against them here in the second half. 3:40 left to go in the third quarter, 41-33. Grizzlies on top against Arlington here at Jackson High School. Grizzlies in their blue uniforms, Arlington in the white, goes inside to Watkins, and Watkins is going to get the basket and get fouled.
I'm surprised Glacier Peak hasn't done that more. Kayla Watkins continually has a size advantage down low, even against Jayla Russ of Arlington. She has such a size advantage. Go into her. Either make Arlington foul you or she goes up for the easy 2 points.
Watkins will try to complete the 3-point play. Here it comes. It is up, and it is good. So Russ with 3 fouls, 2 against Arlington. It's back to an 11-point lead. That's it. They have dug a bit of a hole for themselves, and it's a game of runs, but you got to run a little harder to catch back up to Glacier Peak, who's not cutting them any slack. 3:19 left to go in the third quarter. Arlington with the basketball in front court. It's Janasek. Janasek passes over on the left side. Ludwig now dishes off to Peyton Brown. 3-ball off the rim. Not going to fall. Rebound grabbed by Johnson. Brown had those 9 3-pointers a couple of weeks ago, but is 0 for 2 tonight in this one. With Glacier Peak, there's a travel. This is going to be called against Fatkin. They are allowing Arlington to stay in the game, but Arlington's got to capitalize on the offensive end, no doubt about that.
Yeah, you kind of feel like Glacier Peak's had the ability to close the door a couple times, miss some easy buckets down low, but credit to Arlington. They continue to stay in this game. They don't let Glacier Peak draw ahead. You're waiting. Arlington fans are waiting for something to happen, waiting for a 3-pointer to go in, multiple 3-pointers, and kind of get on a little bit of a run.
Janasek passes to Ludwig, steps into a shot left side, no. Getting the rebound, racing through, just into the game and getting the board, Sarah Short. She passes right side. Janasek drives in, loses the basketball, and gets fouled on the way in. No shots, but those fouls start to accumulate.
And that's kind of the hustle play you want if you're Arlington. Sarah Short comes in, gets an aggressive offensive rebound, kind of gets a little momentum for Arlington. Let's see what they can do with it on this possession.
Paisley Johnson called for the foul, her third, second team foul, each with 2. There's Peyton Brown, goes down low. She finds Short. Now outside, finding Ludwig. Ludwig buries the 3-ball as it drops in to make it an 8-point lead for Glacier Peak. 2:21 left to go in the third quarter here at Jackson High School.
So often you find the best 3-point attempts are the ones that come off an offensive rebound like that last one did.
There's a pass over on the left side. Natalie Rasmussen misses. Watkins gets the rebound, puts it up off the front of the rim. And there is Arlington getting the board. Tap to, let's see, this time getting it Ludwig, but it was a key play by Janasek to get it over to her. And now Arlington will come out of backcourt and back out a little bit off the arc. 1:54 left to go in the third quarter. Ludwig with the basketball, passes up top now, finds Short. Short over on the left side to Ludwig, or make that to Janasek. Janasek goes down low, inside to Short. Short lays it up and in off the glass.
Short has come in and played huge minutes for Arlington. Got a couple offensive rebounds, made a nice slip to the basket, easy layup. She's played huge, important minutes for Arlington.
Glacier Peak with the ball in front court, driving, laying it in, good off the glass is Paisley Johnson, and it is 46-38. They cut it down to 6. Now it's back to 8. Still lots of time left. 1:18 left to go in the third quarter.
And Paisley Johnson kind of answers back for Glacier Peak. They hadn't been able to score for a while. She comes in with a nice Euro step, easy finish.
And there you go inside. It's Ludwig getting the pass and the basket. Got it from Short. Lays it in from the right side. Ludwig now with 7 in the quarter, 15 in the game. Watkins with the ball. It's a 6-point game. Puts it up, no good. Air ball grabbed by Paisley Johnson. Puts it on the floor for 1 and then pops it in 8 feet out on the left side to make it 48-40. An 8-point game. 47 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. With the ball, Janasek. Janasek looking around, cutting around. There's Russ. Russ comes out between the circles, passes left side. 15 on the shot clock, Christy.
Yeah, with 12 seconds on the shot clock. I want to look to attack the basket if I'm Arlington.
There it goes as Ludwig drives in, misses the shot, pokes it out, and it is going to be Johnson getting the rebound as she'll back it up now. Shot clock is dead. 21 on the quarter clock here in the third quarter. Should make for a great fourth quarter here at Jackson High School. Johnson with the basketball. Now passes up top. She finds Rasmussen. Rasmussen working it around with the dribble. Loses a handle, and it's going to be grabbed, or try to be grabbed by Short. Short goes for it, finally knocked out of bounds, and Rasmussen is the last to have a hand on it.
With 6 seconds left, Arlington has the last shot. They have the ability to really stretch the momentum in their favor here. If nothing else, you don't want to give it a turnover. You don't want to give Glacier Peak a chance to score on their own bucket.
Bielser will check back into the game. There's 6 seconds on the quarter clock. Here they come. Janasek with the basketball into front court. Going to have to fire it up. She dishes off. It's going to go to Short. Short misses a 3-ball, and that'll be the end of 3 quarters here in our second game of the day on Fox Sports 1380 and STSPN. Our score is the Glacier Peak Grizzlies 48 and the Arlington Eagles 40. More on the way right here. Stay tuned on STSPN.com and Fox.
We all want to protect our gift of sight, which is why regular eye exams are so important. Regular eye exams not only allow your optometrist to improve the quality of your vision by changing the prescription of your glasses or contact lenses, but also to assess your overall eye health. Even if you see clearly now, it does not mean your eyes are healthy or won't change over time.
Arlington with the ball to start off the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is brought to you by Glass by Lund. Here we go. Is Jayla Russ driving to the basket. It is good from the right side. She had somebody tight on her too, Christy.
Kayla Watkins wasn't in there, so Jayla Russ had the size advantage. I like her aggression to the hoop.
Glacier Peak goes the other direction, trying to pass across the lane. It's knocked out of bounds, and it will be Grizzlies ball. Set to inbound is Natalie Rasmussen. They're up by 6 points, and Arlington has cut the deficit to 6 about 3 times here in this stretch, but they can't seem to get it closer than that.
Glacier Peak's been able to answer every time. This possession's important too. Arlington has the momentum. Can Glacier Peak kind of stop that bleeding and score a bucket here?
Rasmussen with the basketball, passes over on the left side. Johnson behind the back dribble, picked up defensively by Larson. It's deflected away, almost out of bounds. And finally Rasmussen gets control of it. She'll dish off, and Garner gets it, drives to the basket, drops it in for 2. That's a sweet one right there with the runner. In the front court, Arlington, here they come. Let's see now if they can make it happen. Larson will pass to Ludwig. Ludwig misses a shot. Larson chases it down. Great hustle by Larson. It looks like Larson got fouled. She was trying to throw it off the Glacier Peak player, but instead got fouled. Smart play right there.
Those are the possessions that keep the drive alive and kind of keep that momentum going for your team. She didn't have a chance to score that bucket, but she threw it off the other player, got a foul. Arlington kind of still has that momentum, still looking to convert on the 3-point bucket.
Paisley Johnson called for the foul, her 4th. That is the 3rd team foul against Glacier Peak. Driving to the basket and missing is Castanedas. And she tries to keep it alive, keeps it alive all right, goes to Mensing. Here comes Glacier Peak out of backcourt. Fatkin goes to Watkins. Watkins misses one close in, and Ludwig hauls down the board. Here we go. This is Larson into front court. Larson gives it back to Short. Short misses the shot short off the front of the rim. Knocked around for the rebound and finally goes out of bounds. It will be last touched by Arlington. And again, you look at that clock, 6:41 left to go, and there is an 8-point lead for Glacier Peak. But it really starts to be a factor with each possession.
You're exactly right, and Glacier Peak hasn't converted on their easy buckets. If they had converted, they'd be up 20, but they keep letting Arlington hang around with their inability to connect down low.
Glacier Peak passes over on the left side. Mensing, pull-up jumper, good! That's a big shot just inside the arc. Makes it a 10-point lead. She has 15 points in the game, 52-32. There's Russ with the basketball. Pull-up jumper outside the arc, good! 3-ball, big one. They needed that one. She has 5 in the quarter and a total of 14 in the game.
Jayla Russ has the ability to get hot for Arlington from the 3-point line. Kayla Watkins drawing her defensively, not wanting to step out to the 3-point line and guard her. Look for Jayla Russ to continue to keep hot.
Glacier Peak with the ball in front court. Kayla Watkins goes inside to Mensing. Mensing loses a handle on it. It goes out of bounds. Will be Arlington ball. Checking in for the Arlington Eagles will be Emma Janasek. And Christie, a 7-point game. Again, here's an opportunity, a golden opportunity for Arlington to get even closer.
You're exactly right, and Arlington needs to get a good shot. What's worked for them is a 3-point bucket or attacking the basket and trying to draw a foul.
Jayla Russ backs out, 3-ball off the rim, comes out of their right side. Last touch as it goes out of bounds by Jayla Russ. It will be Peak ball. Now, this is the time you do want to peak if you're Glacier Peak in the fourth
there you
quarter.
Go. I like that one.
Or Arlington would like to peak. They need to get closer. They're down by 7, 52-45. In the front court now, here comes Fatkin. Fatkin passes one left side. Watkins, 3-ball. No, she traveled.
And I don't know why Glacier Peak is so eager to put up a quick shot. They can run the clock down, kind of make this a possession game for Arlington where they have to really push the ball forward, but Glacier Peak taking not wise shots and rushing them.
Well, here they come. This is the Arlington Eagles in the front court, 52-45, and they throw it away. Thrown into traffic, picked off by Mensing. Now, over on the left side, it is Fatkin to Watkins, 3-ball. Yes! Wow! Big one by Watkins. She has 14. That's her first 3-ball, and she traveled on the previous one. I think that was her on the left side, and then now she makes that 3-ball off the left side as Arlington has trouble in front court. It's knocked out of bounds.
Kayla Watkins showing like what Michaela Pivick did in that last game, that you can be a post player and step out and shoot the 3 and also have some ball skills, showing her versatility on that last possession.
It is Arlington ball, 4:51 left to go in that fourth quarter, 55-45 as they will inbound. Getting set to do that, Janasek. Janasek looking around, bounce pass. She finds Russ. Now to Janasek. Again, they have to be smart, but also not waste much time. Now they waste, well, it was last touch, they say, by Glacier Peak.
And
almost wasted it.
Exactly. Glacier Peak does not need to be in a rush. They're jumping around. They just need to play steady defense, keep Arlington in front of them, make Arlington work the clock.
Jayla Russ will pass over to Janasek. Janasek drives inside the arc. throws one up, literally misses on that. It's grabbed by Mensing. Mensing leaves the pass back for Rasmussen. Rasmussen will come out of backcourt, blasting hard for Glacier Peak. They're rushing still. There's another travel, just like you were talking about, right there. Just moving too fast. You need to slow down.
Exactly. Time is in their favor. They can afford to use the shot clock. They can move the ball around, and they're just getting antsy. I think they know what they need to do, but they're just getting excited with the pressure Arlington is putting on them.
Arlington will come out of backcourt. It's Janasek. 4:20 left to go in the fourth quarter. They are down by 10 points. Winner plays Linwood for the district championship. Coming up on the 21st at 6 o'clock. Three ball! Perfect for Janasek. That's her first and 10 points in the game. 55-48. Now it really gets interesting.
You see every time Arlington knocks down the three, their bench goes wild. They're waiting for multiple three-pointers to happen, and if you're Glacier Peak, know that. Make Arlington drive to the basket. Don't allow them to creep back in with the three-point shot.
Foul is going to be on Gracie Castaneda, her fourth. That is the third team foul. Into the game, looks like Peyton Brown. We got a timeout on the floor. Let's take a timeout as well. Called by the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Looks like a full timeout. We'll take a break. 55-48 is the score as Glacier Peak is leading Arlington in this district semifinal game. 7-point lead. We'll be back with more on STSPN.com and Fox Sports. Starts at 6 o'clock for the district championship. Winner gets first place, loser gets second, and the loser of this game will go at it on the 19th, which is just a couple of days away from today, against the winner of game number 6. So they got plenty of activity still left in this district tournament as Glacier Peak has the basketball. They're up by 7 points.
And neither team, if they lose, are they out, but it kind of feels like a loser-out game the way these teams want to win so badly.
Ludwig gets the rebound, and right behind her, great hustle by Mensing. Crowd was yelling. Mensing pokes it away right to Paisley Johnson, and Glacier Peak will have the basketball up by 7. Now they slow it down a little bit finally because they've been rushing and being called for travels. It goes inside to Watkins. Great job by Watkins, and finding her was Fatkin. 5 points in the quarter for Watkins, 16 in the game. Fatkin's a smart player.
She's smart, and it's still early in the shot clock to take that shot, but if it's Kayla Watkins and she's down low, you got to give it to her.
We have foul. Was that a flagrant foul?
Double foul.
Double foul, okay. Beelzer called for the foul as part of it. So that would be her third. And then Rasmussen was called for her second. You don't see the double foul a lot. And you know what's interesting, what I've noticed over time is that when you see the double foul, it's usually the same ref will call it, and they'll call it like twice in a game. Then you don't see it for another couple of years or something.
It's just a tendency that they have.
Yeah, they do. With the ball stolen away, it's going to be Paisley Johnson getting it. A 9-point lead for Glacier Peak. They're in the driver's seat right now in a three-possession game for the Grizzlies. Grizzlies, Johnson passes over on the left side. Fatkin delivers to Mensing. Mensing shut off on the baseline, traveling.
Glacier Peak continues to give the ball over. Yeah, they ran the shot clock down a little bit on that possession, but you just want them to continue just to keep possession of the ball and put up a good shot at the end of the shot clock. It doesn't seem that hard to do, but Arlington does provide some good pressure.
Arlington will bring the ball out of backcourt, trailing by 9. They can still get back more into this game and possibly win it, but they have to make it happen quickly. Castaneda with the basketball. Bounce pass to Peyton Brown, the freshman. Now Castaneda. Castaneda is a junior to Russ. Three-point jumper right side. Good! Russ with 8 in the quarter, and she has a total of 17 in the game. 51 for the Arlington Eagles, but 57 for Glacier Peak.
She was wide open on that one. She's already hit a three-pointer. Glacier Peak needs to know personnel and close out to her quicker. Great shot by Russ.
2-possession game. Driving in is Paisley Johnson. Good defense. She missed the shot, but right there underneath, and such excellent presence of mind, Sadie Mensing puts it in for two, 59-51.
Glacier Peak so smart just to get the rebound and put it back up. Arlington, they should have got that board. That was theirs for the taking, coming down, only down 6.
Ludwig with the basketball, passes over on the left side. And now it's going to go to Brown. Brown finds Janasek, drives in left side, good. 2 points right there. 59-53. Arlington wants to call a timeout, a 30-second timeout called on the floor by the Arlington Eagles. 59-53, 1:51 left to go in the fourth quarter here at Jackson High School as the Glacier Peak Grizzlies have the 6-point lead.
6-point lead. They have 2 minutes left to go in the game. If I'm Glacier Peak, use the clock. Move the ball around. Don't turn the ball over. It doesn't necessarily matter that we get a bucket right away. We just want to use the clock and we want to put up a good shot. If I'm Arlington, press the pace. Be aggressive. Press the pace. You can get open threes, but you can also attack the bucket.
6-point lead for Glacier Peak as they are trying to get to play Linwood. And, of course, that's all set things up for, you look at regionals and everything going forward. Do you like the fact that the regionals are played at the gyms now as opposed to?
I don't like it. I love the state tournament feel. That was one of the coolest experiences of high school.
Yeah, and the 4-day tournaments.
Right.
Back-to-back weeks. Just moved down there for a few days. Glacier Peak will inbound. It is Johnson finding Rasmussen. Rasmussen now goes to Mensing. Mensing will go to Rasmussen back again. They're taking a little more time. Fatkin with the basketball, drives in, passes to Watkins down low left side, outside, just inside the arc. 59-53, 13 on the shot clock. And a timeout will be called by the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Go ahead and let us know what might be going on in that in any one of those huddles.
Well, if you're Glacier Peak, you got 12 seconds on the shot clock. You're up by 6. You're wanting to put up a quality shot. You're not wanting to foul. You're not wanting to go over the back. You have the ball. You're up 6. You're in the right position. If I'm Arlington, I'm not wanting to foul. I want Glacier Peak to force them into a quick shot, and then on the other end, if I have an open 3, I'll take it, but I don't need it at this point. I can attack the bucket, look to get to the free throw line, or even get a layup. I think what Arlington has going for them is they have quick guards in the game. They can provide pressure all over the court.
Yes.
They're definitely not out of this if they can get the shots they want and push the pace on the other end.
But boy, they got to make it happen quickly and just play smart, hit those shots, and we'll see what happens. We'll have it for you here. 59-53, 1:33 left to go in the fourth quarter. Glacier Peak will inbound. Getting it would be Fatkin, goes to Mensing. Mensing now over on the right side, picked up by Ludwig. Now up top they go, that finding Johnson. Johnson drives to the basket, lays it in. From right out front, off the glass, dropping home. 17 points for Paisley Johnson.
Exactly what Glacier Peak needed. Attack the bucket, get yourself in there for a quality shot.
Jayla Russ gets the ball, drives right side, too hard off the backboard and also off the rim, and it's not going to go. Johnson gets the ball off the rebound, and here comes Glacier Peak, and there's finally going to be a foul by Janasek. Just a desperation as much as anything, as it just ticks under 1 minute to go here in the fourth quarter. 61-53 is the score.
And with only 5 fouls for Arlington, they're going to need to foul a couple more times before they put Glacier Peak on the foul line. They're going to want to foul quickly, but also without making it a flagrant foul, extremely obvious.
Janasek called for the foul, her first. That is the 15th foul. 14 fouls against Glacier Peak. Inbound, and again, Janasek all over her opponent Fatkin like a cheap suit, and that is going to be a foul on Janasek.
One more foul.
Foul.
Yep, like you said, 16 fouls. Need one more foul for Glacier Peak. Now it becomes strategic. Who do you want on the free throw line? Who are your best free throw shooters? You put the ball in their hands to ice it for you guys.
Set to go. They make some substitution. Russ is going to come out, so they go to a bit of a smaller lineup as Russ comes out. And now Glacier Peak will inbound, and Peyton Brown came in. Glacier Peak's going to be fouled again. I mean, it's at that point of the game, and this is where you wish it was a little closer if you're Arlington, certainly.
Exactly, but you can still play through this, right? If you're Arlington, if you're out on the court, you're not saying, hey, this game's over. You're saying, hey, let's fight for every possession. You got to do what it takes to get stops. You got to rebound off missed free throws. You got to push the ball on the other end. You don't need threes at this point, but you need quick buckets and then steals.
So the foul this time is going to be called against Short. That is her first. And the 7th foul against Arlington. At the foul line, shooting is Fatkin. 61-53. Here's the first shot. It is good. So she'll get a second one because it's 1-1. Now, she has not scored since the first half when she had 5 points.
But cool as a cucumber on the free throw line. Steps up there, doesn't phase her, knocks the first one in.
Next one on the way is good. So Fatkin makes them both, and it is a 10-point lead. This does not look good for the Arlington Eagles, Christy.
And Arlington needs to speed it up. They're taking time off the clock. They need to get going.
Yeah. 45 seconds left. They're down by 10. This is a 4 possession game. There's Russ way off the mark. Going to come out of there. Rebound grabbed by Janasek. Puts it up. No good. And the rebound grabbed by Rasmussen.
And it's all in the bag for Glacier Peak. You look at Arlington, they had multiple chances tonight to kind of creep back into this game. Missed baskets, easy turnovers, but they're not out of it, right? They can still come back through the loser's bracket. They got to keep their heads high.
So the foul this time will be called against Arlington's Peyton Brown, her second. And that is the 8th team foul, 1-1. Missing the shot, a foul shot is Rasmussen. And a rebound pulled down by Arlington. 63-53, a 10-point lead. There's Brown from way outside, practically in Snohomish. Misses the shot as it goes out of bounds. And this one is going to go to the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. So, Christy, we need to look at those type of things like player of the game and turning point of the game. I know, Paisley Johnson, 17 points. Again, it's not all about the points. Also, Sadie Mensing was 17, 16 for Kayla Watkins. So I'll let you kind of pull that over
gosh,
a little.
that's a lot of pressure, player of the game.
Well, that's why you get paid the big bucks
exactly.
here. So.
I think.
And you can go whatever direction you want to go there. No help from him over there either. Oh, they have one too. They're giving away merchandise too. Okay.
I think my player of the game would go Paisley Johnson. I think her ability just to get into the lane and kind of make those buckets when Glacier Peak desperately needed a basket were huge turning points in the game. Missed
shot by Rasmussen, so I think that's a good call. So Paisley Johnson, player of the game, and that will be number 3 that on the uniforms for Debbie to go get. And Janasek makes a basket the other way. Time runs out. We are finished up here through 4 quarters, 63-55 as the Glacier Peak Grizzlies defeat the Arlington Eagles in the second game of our doubleheader by 8 points. So we're going to go with Paisley Johnson as the Skagit Bank player of the game. And what do you think as far as the turning point of the game? Would it be Kayla Watkins?
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Let's go with Kayla Watkins. She did a lot of things inside. You know, one of the things she did too, and it was a turning point, is she hit that 3 ball over in the corner.
You're exactly right.
And so let's go with that. So that'll be Kayla Watkins as the Papa Murphy's turning point.
Thank you very much, Mark and Christy on Fox Sports 1380. Keith Neely, Steve Willits on STSPN with your Action Jackson Plumbing post-game show. The moving on will be the Glacier Peak Grizzlies to face the Linwood Royals in the district championship on Saturday night. And the Arlington Eagles will have to go the distance the tough way. And boy, it's a tough haul. If you have to go through that back way to get all the way through to the regional tournament, you better have some endurance. That's for darn sure. It is a long trip, 3 more games perhaps. Of course, you do not have to in the 3A go through the King Code number 3 in order to get things done. But still, Arlington on a long haul trip now, as was the Edmonds Woodway Warriors a game before. We now head to our Sound Live Sports Network player of the game. And that will be Miss Watkins sitting next to Steve Willits. Take it away, Steve.
All right, thank you, Keith. And once again, our final score, 63-55. The Glacier Peak Grizzlies are moving on to the championship. Kayla Watkins, how does that sound?
It's fantastic. I'm really proud of my team. It was a great team win. I'm excited to play Linwood. I think we can play good.
Second or third time this year you've played them. You lost one, you won one. Are you looking forward to figuring out who's going to win 2 out of 3?
Yeah, it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be a tight game the whole time. What comes down is defense. Every game is defense and a team win. We just have to play as a team and play good defense.
Now, I've noticed every time you guys play a team this year that you've played for the second time, you tend to do better than you did the first time. Edmonds Woodway, you lost the first time, and then you really destroyed them the second time. Same thing with Linwood earlier. And then tonight, this is an Arlington team you only beat by 3 earlier this year. Now you beat them by 10. What was the biggest difference?
I mean, practices, we just pushed harder, and we just wanted to win, and we just came as a team and we're like, we got to win this, and we did.
Talk about your matchup with Jayla Russ, too. Whenever the two of you are going at it, it's always fun to watch. You probably played against her, I think, numerous times over the years. What's that like?
She's a really good player. She can knock down the threes. Surprised me, but she's a good player.
When she's knocking down those threes, does it cause you to guard her differently than you have to guard other post players in the league?
Yeah, because most players are inside. I mean, they're strong, and then she's more of a guard post, and it's good. She's a good player.
You know, I noticed she's not the only one you guarded out on the perimeter tonight. Peyton Brown, right when she checked into the game, she had 9 threes in the game last week. Right when she checks in, she gets the ball, you immediately fly out and block one of her shots. Was that something you were waiting for?
Not really. It just came to me. I mean, she steps back and shoots, so I knew that was coming. So I just put my hand up and it was there.
And if I'm going to talk to you about post players knocking down threes, I've got to talk to you about your own shot. Fourth quarter, Arlington was starting to gain some momentum, and you hit a big three-pointer. Take us through that play. Were you expecting the ball on that one?
I mean, yeah, because you see the person drive, and I'm just sitting there waiting for the ball. I mean, after that Linwood 3 at halftime, I'd just be able to knock down the 3.
Sure. So right now I'm going to get a picture with you here because you are, in fact, our STSPN player of the game. So let's hold this up. You get to keep this shirt, by the way, and it also says districts on it. So I'll have you hold that. So there we go. We're looking at Todd Elvick. And Kayla Watkins, 18 points tonight. She is our STSPN player of the game. Kayla, you are heading to the championship game. Congratulations. Enjoy. You are very welcome. Go and take that. Keith Neely, I'm going to stay down here and try to get a few more players or maybe a coach. I'll let you go ahead and talk about the game a little bit.
Thank you very much, Steve Willits, a part of the youth movement of the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, the sophomore, and Kyla Watkins putting up 18 points and a great movement. Or matchup rather against Jayla Russ, who had 17 points, and a couple of the bigs who normally are cruising the paint down low. A couple of battleships went out and took pot shots at each other from three-point land. It was awful fun to see, and Russ hit 4 of those, 4 three-pointers, 12 points. So something that they talked about out there in that interview, Kyla Watkins having to go out and guard like a guard Jayla Russ. To definitely have seen one another, know one another, and what a fun time to have a battle like that in such a big game. Of course, the final in this one, 63-55, with the Glacier Peak Grizzlies taking the chance into the championship game to try another upset, if it were. I have to imagine that Glacier Peak is still going in the underdog against the Linwood Royals in the championship ball game. The Arlington Eagles will have to cross brackets, and then they will probably be playing the Stanwood Spartans, I would imagine, in the crossover game. Of course, all the district action continues through the losers bracket as well, not just here at Jackson High School. Again, the men's team tomorrow, the men's games tomorrow night, the same times, a 6 o'clock and a 7:45 are the game times here at the home of the Timberwolves, of course, the 4A division, the Den at Scoop Jackson High School, and Fox Sports 1380 and STSPN.com will have the simulcast here. And what a ball game tonight between these two teams. And all 4 teams that were in the semifinals, of course, the Linwood Royals dispatching the Edmonds Woodway Warriors in the earlier ball game today. Linwood will go on to their, I believe, 3rd straight chance at a district championship, have already won the last 2, and Edmonds Woodway going back through the losers bracket. They have done that before. Last year were the team that got to regionals the tough way. EW were eliminated in that regional round, but had the chance to play at the state tournament level. And that is what the Arlington Eagles and the Edmonds Woodway Warriors are looking to try to do here after the losses today. Glacier Peak will run down the scoring, leading the scorers for the Grizzlies was Paisley Johnson with 14, Fatkin with 7, Mensing with 12, Watkins, as we mentioned, with the 18 points to lead all scorers, and Rasmussen with a deuce and a free throw for 3 points, and Garner with 9. For the Arlington Eagles, Janasek had 14 points, Ludwig 15 points, Russ 17 points, and then a couple of players. We had Castaneda with 5, Balderas with 2, and Short with 2 to round out the scoring for the Eagles. So not quite done yet here on the home of your District 1 playoff basketball, STSPN. And Fox 1380. It was awful nice to have the likes of Mark and Christie carrying us through the distance of 2 back-to-back games. That's a long haul, a doubleheader. And now we're trying to get Paisley Johnson out to find Steve Willits for another interview. Paisley Johnson with 14 points. And we stand by now. Steve Willits has got Paisley.
All right, thank you, Keith Neely. And once again, the final score, Glacier Peak defeating Arlington 63-55 to advance to the championship game. Paisley Johnson, how does that sound?
It's pretty awesome. We're all so excited. I can't wait. Saturday can't come soon enough.
Now, this is a district that we all talked about it earlier in the year. It was going to be so difficult to come out of it because really only 3 teams advance, and there's really 6 teams that could potentially come out of here. You guys have clinched one of those 3 spots. Does that take a lot of weight off your shoulders?
We knew coming to this game that we had to win it if we wanted to be able to have a good seeding and a nice game coming in, and I think getting this one was really important for us, and I'm glad we got it.
Talk about the game plan a little bit too, because really, Bielser, Castaneda, I'm looking at Balderas. None of those 3 really had much going this game. I mean, you guys really did a nice job of shutting them down on the perimeter. Was that a big focal point of your game plan?
We came to the game knowing that we wanted to play defense. We really focused on defense because when we played Linwood and Edmonds Woodway and all these really good teams, we were focused on our defense, and we knew that defense wins games. So worked as a team, we got that win.
Sure. Now 1 game left, 6 o'clock Saturday. I don't need to tell you who you're playing. The Linwood Royals. You've split with them so far this year. What can we expect at 6 p.m. here on Saturday night?
It's going to be a tough, brutal game. Y'all better come out.
And if they're not, they can certainly tune into STSPN and watch us here. Hey, Paisley, great job tonight. Congratulations on getting to the championship game. 1 more to go, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll let Paisley go celebrate with her teammates. Once again, you're watching STSPN.
Thank you.
14 points for yet another sophomore here on the Glacier Peak Grizzlies championship run. If they can outdo the Linwood Royals on Saturday night, that's exactly what they'll have. And boy, if you look down this roster and see all the youngins on there, boy, Glacier Peak, if they don't get it done this year, they just reload. They just a continual youth movement, and it was a heck of an outing against a very strong Arlington Eagles team tonight.
Well, and you know what? This is a team that, and you mentioned it, it's a youth movement year. I kind of thought this might be a rebuild year for Glacier Peak. I mean, you know, you look at down low with Fossey and Beard last year, and you brought back 2 seniors on your entire roster. You know, we knew that Linwood was going to be tough coming in. We knew some of these other teams were going to be right up there too. And for them to come out with this young team, inexperienced, and to get to the championship game in what's arguably one of the toughest districts we've ever seen on the girls level, kudos to them for getting here.
If you're a Glacier Peak fan, do you ever get complacent at just putting banners up in your gym?
Not in girls basketball,
wow.
Right? But certainly they've proven it time and time again. And yeah, that's the scary thing. This team's only going to be better next year. Speaking of which, Arlington, we talked about that earlier too. They lose Ludwig. I think Deneke is the only other senior on the team. So many of these players are young. Certainly their season's not over yet. They've got hopefully a couple of big games coming up for them. They run the table on the consolation side of things, and they can still get to regionals.
Let's talk Saturday night on the girls' side of the bracket, and then we'll turn you loose to try to find another player. You already know what the matchup is going on in the premier game, the marquee game between the Linwood Royals and the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Who do you expect to see in the undercard?
Well, I'm going under the assumption that Stanwood more than likely won tonight. We haven't heard a score yet, but
no.
Assuming that Stanwood and Arlington are playing each other, Those two have played each other a couple times already this year. Arlington has won fairly convincingly. Granted, one of those games, they took them right down to the wire. Stanwood, I think, fell behind a little bit in the fourth quarter, but I fully expect Arlington to be in that third-place game on Saturday. Their opponent might be a different story because you still have Edmonds, Woodway, and Ferndale to play each other more than likely, assuming they both win their next game. And that's a heck of a matchup. Ferndale's the kind of the unknown. They're the wild card, and we talked about that before. They play up in that Northwest Conference.
The Great North Conference.
It's a great conference, and we saw what they did to this Glacier Peak team just a couple nights ago. They took them right down to the wire. So it could easily be Ferndale. It could easily be Edmonds Woodway, but I expect one of those two teams to be playing against Arlington. And I'll tell you what, if it's Edmonds Woodway and Arlington, they've already played each other once this year. What was it, 84-76? It was an overtime game.
Overtime win by Edmonds Woodway.
And that could be for all the marbles in terms of the loser goes home and their season comes to an end. The winner goes to districts, and where you have a clean slate. It doesn't matter if you are the 1, 2, or the 3. All 3 teams advance.
I think Paisley said it best. Y'all better get down to the gym on Saturday night.
And I couldn't agree with her more. But if they can't, KRKO is going to have it. We're going to have it. 6 o'clock right here on Saturday. And we're still looking around here. I see Coach Brian Hill. Well, I do not see Brian Hill. We see a few other players coming out. So I'll tell you what, Keith, if you don't mind, I'll let you go through some more stats. I'm going to try to get one more player.
We'll carry on here at the, we'll run down the bracket real quick. I'd like to first give a shout out to our sponsors here on STSPN, Action Jackson Plumbing, who has been with us the entire way through and sponsor our halftime program and this postgame show, Action Jackson Plumbing, and along with our presenting sponsor, Shoreline Community College. You can find them online. Just Google Shoreline Community College, and all the information is right there. A great way to continue your education. Of course, Stanwood and Everett are playing on the first side of the losers bracket, the first game tonight. As Steve mentioned, we assume that Stanwood would win that game, won it by well over 30 points in the first time they played one another in the regular season. Ferndale and Shorewood, the favorite going into that ball game was Ferndale. Shorewood, the number 8 seed in the Wesco coming into district playoff time. And that would put Ferndale against Edmonds Woodway, if that were to be true. And on the other side of the bracket, that would put Stanwood matching up against Arlington to see who can get into that final matchup game, the one that happens right before the district championship game on 6 o'clock at Saturday right here at the Den at Jackson High School. A 2:30 p.m. game will be that consolation bracket game. The third goes to state. They do not have to go down to the Wesco to play the number 3, or the Kingco teams rather, to play the number 3 team down there, but rather if you can make it, you go as a third seed. Of course, drawing that third seed automatically puts you at a bit of a disadvantage in most districts, because you will draw a number 1 seed in the regional from some other district. But boy, you've got to argue, you've got to make the argument that coming out of the Wesco, out of District 1, that any one of the 3 seeds or 3 teams that come out of this district really have the opportunity to upset and make some real big differences in the state tournament. And don't care if you're number 1, 2, or 3, it is a huge, huge deal. And now we go to Steve has got Samantha Fatkin alongside him here, and we'll bring it down. Another interview straight away.
All right, thank you, Keith. We are here with Sam Fatkin, the starting point guard for Glacier Peak. And Sam, 63-55 victory. You're going to the championship game. Same question I asked your teammates. How does that feel?
It feels pretty good. We got here with teamwork, and when it came down to it, we all worked together, and that's what got us here.
You're a really young team, a lot of sophomores, a couple juniors, and really only 2 seniors. Does this kind of exceed all your expectations that you had for this team going into the year?
No, we had high expectations going into the year, and so this is where we want to be, and we just want to keep going further.
And you're playing a Linwood team that you've played twice this year. How are you feeling about playing them for a third time?
I'm excited. I think they're going to come out hard, and I think that it's going to be a good game.
I should ask you a little bit about the game tonight, too. We talked to Paisley a few minutes ago. Really, all 3 of their perimeter players were pretty much shut down tonight. I know you had a lot to do with that. We were watching you in the third quarter. It looked like you were kind of running out of gas a little bit. Were you having to work pretty hard tonight?
Yeah, it came down to defense, and third quarter I was getting a little tired, but we had to suck it up and finish strong.
Adrenaline does a lot when you're in a big game like this, doesn't it?
For sure, yeah.
So again, 6 o'clock Saturday night, championship game against Linwood. How excited are you?
Pretty excited. I can't wait.
So there we go. So Sam Fatkin, big night for her. She's going to the championship game, and you guys have already clinched a spot in regionals. Nicely done.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. We'll let you get back to Keith here. Thanks, Sam. Go ahead and celebrate, and we'll see you on Saturday.
7 points for Sam Fatkin on the night, and yet another sophomore that just continue to blossom here in the Glacier Peak program. And we will say good night. They just continue he's going to go try to find the only lone sophomore left that he has not interviewed on this roster, Maya McFadden. We'll see how successful he is. And, well, we've got another interview. We'll head back down to Steve.
I keep thinking if I wait long enough, we'll get Brian Hill out here, but he's not coming out, so we're just going to get all the players. Why not, right? Sadie Mensing joining us right now. And, Sadie, you're a senior on this team, one of the few. You played on a team last year with older players. What's been the biggest difference this year from last year?
We're definitely a lot, I think, faster. Like, we run the court a lot more. It's just been really fun, and everyone's like, all the younger classmen are willing to like work for the seniors because it's our last season, and like we all just love each other, and it's awesome.
Now, and be honest here, as a senior coming into this year, did you think you guys would have this kind of success?
I knew it would be different. Like, I figured, like, I knew we could be like good and like do this good and stuff. I thought we might have like a little bit more of a rough start, but I knew we could accomplish all we were doing, so.
Now, last year you were playing at the 3A level against, what was it, Mount Lake Terrace and a few other schools, Ferndale. This year the climate changed a little bit. You had Linwood, Arlington, and Edmonds-Woodway drop down. Is it more satisfying knowing that you were able to get through these districts as opposed to last year because of the tougher teams?
Tough competitions definitely makes games like more fun and stuff. I mean, it's kind of tough because we have such great teams and only 3 of us get regional berths, but it's been fun. Competition's always fun.
So the senior playing in her, I guess it's second championship game in a row, or did you guys make it the year before? I'm trying to do that off the fly here.
We've been to the championship game all 4 of my years.
All 4 years. Okay, that's right. They did make it all 4. So, hey, nicely done. You got the sweep. So congratulations and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
So again, we have yet to see Coach Hill out here. We may not even need him. We've got all these players to interview. A lot of very happy teenagers. They're excited. They should be. So I guess we're going to wrap it up right here. Once again, the final score tonight, Glacier Peak 63, Arlington 55. The Glacier Peak Grizzlies have already punched their ticket. They've advanced to regionals, regardless of what happens on Saturday. But before they go to play a regional game, they've got a district championship to try to win. 6 p.m. right here in this gym Saturday night against the Linwood Royals. So for Todd Elvick and Keith Neely, I'm Steve Willits. Thank you for watching and have a good night.